Forgive me, brothers, for it has been many months since I have ranted. I was just saying to myself today that I should stop picking up the mic or picking up the phone when I feel the urge coming on while it's still fresh. And I think this is one of those times. So I think that we should go to an old school rant. So without further ado, drop that beat. Now, somebody emailed me a video of Zaza Ali, a 4-hour video. Now, I didn't watch all of it. He told me to go to the 3-hour mark about the passport bros. And the gist of it is they say all the right things. We don't go and add anything to the culture that where we're going to, which is bunk. The black women, especially her, don't care what we do or why we travel all over the world, which is bunk. Just don't talk about them. And she gives all the same old patent excuses that most black women give about passport bros. Okay? I'm unbothered. I just don't like how you guys represent us. I don't like how you talk about us and black women and that kind of stuff. So I left a comment on her comment section and said, maybe you should try to talk to them instead of about them. And she claims in her video that she did talk to them, to passport bros. And I told her, if you had talked to any one of the popular passport bros that are in this sector, my email would have lit up like a Christmas tree. And it would have. I'd have had so many messages on my comment section. I'd have had it in my emails. I'd have had it in my Telegram. It'd have been all over the place because her name does ring out in this sector. It'd have lit up like 4th of July fireworks. That's what it would have done. So no, right then and there, what she was saying was bunk. In fact, she didn't even argue. She said, I understand. And she said, peace. Because she knows exactly what I'm saying, because she knows who I am. And she knows that I'm connected to the manosphere, and I'm connected to the passport bros. I'm connected to all these movements. And what she's saying was a load of hogwash. Now, normally, I give pro-black or even pro-black leaning people like her a pass. And had she just said, I will try to reach out to them and understand your guys' point of view, I'd have let it go. I wouldn't have said anything. I wouldn't be recording this right now. But I just want to say, really, after this, I'm pretty much done. Pretty much done with black women. I'm getting tired of people caping for them, excusing their behaviors, excusing what we go through, why they abuse us. Y'all been telling us for 60 years that you don't like us and you don't want us, and we abuse you, we beat you up, we do all kind of heinous stuff to you, and we don't support you or protect you. We're not adequate husbands. I can't tell you how many books talking about the inadequate supply of husbands in the black community. So black men are not stepping up to the plate. Black men don't take care of their kids. Black men get everybody pregnant. Black men do all kind of heinous stuff to black women. And how they need better men. And black men, for their sake, it said, if you can find a better man, by all means, please go get him. Getting tired of how they cheer each other on when they say they've moved on and got other men, whether it's Latino, whether it's white, whether it's Asian, whatever it is. They cheer each other on. And then what do? If a black man decides he's going to exercise his options, they get upset. That's what Alvin Poussin said. I don't know if black women care more about racism or to control the black men. We already know the answer after 60 years. It has nothing to do with hating that white boy. It's about controlling that man because they have way more hatred and vitriol for their own men than they do their white boy. I've seen more vitriol spewed at the brothers inside the community than I saw any spewed at any white man or any white woman. They have way more to say about us and way more negative things to say about us than any other group. And we're in used to be one of the most racist countries on the planet. And they've been saying this crap about us since the 1850s. And anytime they can get a chance to get next to that white man or shack up with that white man, and the white woman will treat them halfway decently, they take it and they bounce. They take it and they bounce to the point where white men think that they own black women's bodies. That's how bad it is. And then they come on this side of the town, cross the road, and they tell us that how faithful they are. And when the numbers come out, all of a sudden the numbers start showing a different story. That's one thing I love about the internet and dating apps and stuff like that. They tell the real story. They tell you where the desires really are. And they tell black men how they've been gaslit for the past 100 years. But I listen to parts of it. The first thing she says that they all say, right, is that they hate how black men especially compare women of other cultures to them, and how we have this negative attitude towards them, like it just came out of nowhere. And I hear a lot of guys say the exact same thing. There's no difference between women. Bunk. That's bunk. They know exactly that different cultures raise different women. Even here in the United States, that's how come they can't stand you dating an Asian or a white woman or anybody else, is because first thing they say is that woman will do exactly what you want. Yes, they will. Yes, they treat us better. Yes, they're more kind. Yes. I just played a video about black women believing that they had to be mean toward their men, but soft toward white men. Why did they say? They said they need to be mean and dominant over their men to control them. And you can hear it in their voice. You can hear it. I grew up hearing that voice. I grew up hearing that tone. I recognize that tone as soon as I hear it. As soon as I hear it, that mommying tone. And that's what pisses me off. They know exactly why we left. They know exactly what we're talking about. They know exactly what we will find when we date out, especially out of the side of the country. That's what they're pissed off about. They know exactly what they do. They know exactly how many times a day they tell us to go kiss their behinds, and they give us the middle finger. Exactly. Even the so-called pro-blacks. Exactly. Can't tell you how many sessions that we have to sit through talking about relationships in the pro-black community, and all of a sudden a group of black women get together and start weeping about how badly we treat them, or how bad our relationships are, or how much the black man needs to freaking improve. I get tired of hearing that. We got to change ourselves so we can make them feel better. Get the entire hell out of here. Like they don't have to change. They know exactly what they do and what's been passed down. After 100 years, you guys cannot be this freaking clueless. You are not clueless. Because if you were clueless, you would say it to our face in a relationship instead of behind our backs. You know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly what you try to do to us. You know exactly the kind of games you try to run on us. You know exactly the tone that your mama told you to use against us. That I've seen it too many times. You bring in another woman from another culture, all of a sudden that black woman come together and try to change her so she can act exactly like them. Why? Because they don't want you to spoil him. They don't want him to get used to good treatment. They want her to beat us like the dog that we are. Keep that dog on a leash and keep that dog beat so that dog will not raise his head. Because if they think that if the dog raises his head one day, he's going to bite you. That's what they think. They go through the whole world telling how afraid they are to walk the streets and be around us, and then at the same breath they want us to protect them. In the same breath they want us to provide for them. The same breath they want us to be with them as a backup plan. Same breath. And then talk crap about us. Thing is, we hear you for 70 years, especially since there's been social media. We hear you. We hear you on all those talk shows since the 1970s. We hear you. We see all the books that are written negatively about black men. We hear you. What it says to us that you don't want us. That's what it says. You don't want us. And until recently, we had very little choice and very little options to go any place else. We had to put up with you. What happens when we don't have to put up with you anymore? When you tell us you don't want us, we can take a hike. We can walk. When we say that we beat on you and we abandon you and we emotionally abuse you, we say, you know what, guess what? Maybe we're not compatible. We can take a hike. And then when we do, guess what? You get mad. You get mad. You've been giving us your behind to kiss for the past 80 years. The past freaking 80 years you've been giving black men your behind to kiss. And now you act like you don't know exactly what you're doing. You don't know exactly what the black man wants, even though he's been saying it. He's been saying what he wants. He's been saying the kind of woman he wants. He's been saying what he wanted out of his woman. And guess what? Most coaches said that's not a lot. That's not a lot. Black men are tired. Tell black men, you have to take us like we are. If we're 80 pounds over the weight, you just have to deal with it. If we want 4-inch eyelashes, you got to take that. If we want fake weave down our butt, you got to take that. If we want bad attitudes, you got to take that. If we got demanding attitudes, like I'm going to bring 4 kids, about 4 guys to your door, and you got to accept us and marry us and take care of me and my kids, y'all have to take that. How dare you have standards? How dare you get what you want? And recently, they have been just straight up telling you, you can't get what you want. You got to settle for us. And when black men say, you know what, just like during the election, I don't vote for the Republicans, I'm going to vote for the couch. A lot of men voted for the couch. Either I'm out or I'm going in another direction. Passport bros go in another direction. And passport bros is only a small percentage of black men. And it's really not what they say. It's really not what they do. It's really what they show. It's really, they go over there and they tell you these women are different. These women treat us better. These women are more like the women that we would want to have, and sometimes even more of what we really want. And that's what you don't like. That's what you don't like. You know exactly how you treat us. You know exactly what you demand out of us. You know exactly what you say to us. You know exactly how you speak to us. Exactly. But you don't want to change, which is fine. I always tell guys, don't try to make them change. This is who they are. Make a different decision. I can't tell you how much pushback, especially from the pro-black community, I get from that. Got to make a decision. You have to go back into that minefield with that woman that just gave you her behind the kiss and the middle finger, and you got to somehow convince her to make it right. And you know that you're not, what it really means that you got to go and comply. You got to go on bended knee and kiss her behind and bring, so-called bring the black community back into some kind of harmony. Bring peace back to this dysfunctional community. That's really what they want. We don't care that it's dysfunctional. We don't care that you don't get nothing out of it. We don't care that it doesn't serve you. What we do know is it's going to fall apart if you leave. That's what they do know. If black men start wholesale leaving, it's going to fall apart. So just like in the Ukraine, they want you to go to the front line and they want you to throw your body in front of those bullets. They want you to be cannon fodder for the black community. That's what they want you to be. It's like in politics, right? This is the last election. They wanted you to be the cannon fodder for the Democrats. They want you to be cannon fodder. They ain't say the women had to change anything. They said that you, no matter what you felt or what you thought or what your independent thought was or how these Democrats served or didn't serve you, that didn't matter. You had to get in line behind your women because it was working for them. So it's working for them. That means you have to fall in line and get behind them, get under them. That's how come they were so pissed about the Ice Cube effect. Is that black men broke ranks. If we don't get anything, you don't get our vote. If you don't start changing laws, then guess what? We're not going to cooperate. If you don't start changing things to where it's more equitable for us, guess what? We out. And that's what's been going on. They always say there's not enough black men, there's too few number. Half of the black men are never going to marry. What are you talking about? 40% of black men will never marry. Will never marry. That's way more than enough. 68% of black men are not married now. There's more than enough. There's 68% of black men that are unmarried. If you really wanted to have a husband and you really wanted to act right, then you could get married to him. You could. Because they don't have no problem going across the fence and getting married. Don't have no problem going overseas and getting married. Don't have no problem going overseas and finding women. Cooperative women. Women that like them. Women are actually asking for them. That's what you don't like about passport bros. The women are asking for them now. Saying that we're over there exploiting the culture. No, we're not. No, we are not. The black women that find the passport bros and actually like them. Talk to any one of the girls that dated passport bros. They said they would date another. And in fact, they're calling for more women, more of us to come over there. Ask Korea. Ask China. Ask the Philippines. Ask Japan. Ask Latin America. They're actually booking more flights to fly more of us down there. There's a reason for that. You always say that we're the problem. But guess what passport bros did? It actually exposed you and your BS. That's what it did. It exposed you. Exposed you like a mug. Because guess who can't go overseas and date like that? Guess who can't go overseas and grab a man? Guess who can't go overseas and run their game? Y'all, black women can't. Can't tell you how many videos of Japan, Philippines, Korea, Europe, Africa, that black women have problems with the men. They can't date the local men. In fact, one of the brothers, O'Shea Duke Jackson, said, you know what? The way black women in America are, if you want to come over here and date, I advise you to bring your man with you. And most of the women that are married to African men today met them here in the United States because they were Americanized. They were trained to tolerate the BS that black women spit out. That's how come they're upset that we're leaving. Because black women, for the most part, have no place else to go. A white man will date them. White men will get them pregnant, but white men are not bringing them home. Not enough numbers to make a difference. That's how come black men have, 700,000 more marriages than black women, and we have almost 3 million less people? How's that working out? How does that happen? How come black men's divorce rate is lower than black women's? How come our marriage rate is higher? How come our marriage rate is higher? The only people a black woman can get along with for a long period of time is a white man if he accepts it. Because he is such a prize to her and such a catch to her that she will bend over backwards to keep it. It's like the brother at the restaurant in New York says, when a black woman comes into his restaurant with a black man, she giving him all kind of help. He has to pay up through the yang to keep her and make her happy. But when a black woman comes in with a white man, she's footing the bill. She's the one kissing up. She's the one trying to make good and entertain him. And the white boys are over there clapping it up and laughing that he gets anything he wants from her. But he won't marry her. Why? You know why? Now, I had respect for Zaza Ali. I know she done some shady stuff, but I had some respect for her. But the thing is, you sound just like all the rest of them. The pro-black women sound just like all the rest of them, the same stuff. The gynocracy extends to the pro-black community. It does. Because what the passport bros do is basically undermine your story, undermine your propaganda. That the only people that's going to love you, and that's what they always say, the only woman that's going to love you is a black woman. Bunk. It's not true. Bunk. It's not true. And say if it was true, that you really loved us through all that negativity, that you really did. You know what? I'd rather get blessed love and treated well instead of getting what you call love and getting abused. I'm not here for that. I don't care what kind of story that you're trying to spin. And that story is weak. That's how come they hate the manosphere, because we play this stuff constantly. Manosphere don't make stuff up. The manosphere, what it does, it goes out and gets your own words and put it on the screen. And say, look, and comment on it. We ain't got to say it. And that's one thing about the manosphere that I love, the black manosphere I love. We will take what your words, put it on that video, and show them. It's not what we're saying, it's what she's saying. Listen to her. We always used to say that, right? One thing we said. That's one thing I used to say when I was running my women's channel. If you let her talk long enough, she'll tell you the truth. If you let her talk long enough, she'll tell you the truth. And trust and believe, I don't do half the stuff that I could on my channel to go in on black women. Because my mission is not to go in on black women, it's to save black men. To give them enough information and get the truth out of black women so they can make a different choice. And I always say this, if you want a black woman, stop trying to change her. If you want a black woman, stop trying to change it, because we have tried that for the past 80 years and it doesn't work. The women of the day, the young women of the day, my grandkids and the young women of the day are still the same woman that my grandmother was back in 1910. It ain't changed. Same stuff, same attitude, same everything. It has not changed. My mother, who's in her 80s, can talk to some little girl that's in her teens, and they have the same conversation. It ain't changed. You're not changing them. I know we used to get all this stuff about masculinity, and if you were better, they would change, and if you da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, they would change. Bunk. Don't fall for that banana in the tailpipe. Don't fall for that Blue Seas football. They pull it every time. They're even doing it with this DEI garbage. You know doggone well the DEI does not do anything for black people. But yet you have black women shouting to the rooftops, carrying Becky's water like she's been doing for the past 150 years. It ain't changed. It has not changed. I'm telling brothers, get yourself and go free. Okay? Get yourself and go free. And the last little thing that I want to say before I jump off here, because I'm getting ready to go in on the black women. I cannot believe that you guys are this stupid. I cannot believe that you guys are this unaware. I cannot believe that you are really eating your own garbage like that. You know exactly what you guys say about us to each other. You know exactly how you act. You know exactly how your mama taught you to act to us. But the thing is, you think you're justified in it. You think that this is the peak way to treat a black man and treat a black boy. You think that black boys are inherently damaged and worthless the way you have to treat them a certain way. And you have to elevate yourself because it's on you to protect the black community and protect the black kids, yada, 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 yada. So that means you have to get everything first. You have to have the house because more black women own houses. Black women have more jobs, believe it or not, even though black men earn more, because we always go back to the earning. But black women have more jobs. Black women have more resources. Black women have always had more education. They've always owned more property. Black women would get together in a group, in a family, and they will actually help one of the daughters buy cars, get apartments, and buy houses. So they will not have to be under a black man. That's their number one thing. They don't want to be under a black man, which is why the marriage rate is so low. And that's how come as soon as black women could find their independence and not be married to a black man, the marriage rates crashed and never recovered. The marriage rates in the black community crashed in the 60s, and they've never recovered since. As soon as Uncle Sam became her baby daddy, black women left and never came back. When your marriage rates crashed, when the old folks in the World War II and silent generation started dying off, the marriage rates crashed. They were done. And I used to hear my mother, silent generation, tell my daughters that you need to go get your education and go find your own way so that you don't have to put up with no man. That you don't have to have a husband. That you don't have to be under a man. That you don't have to depend on a man. And guess what? Black men have heard you. You know what I'm saying is true, but the thing is now you're trying to lie to us. Like we weren't raised in the same household. We didn't hear your mama say that stuff to you. We heard it. We heard her say it. We heard our aunts say it. We heard the teachers say it. The exact same thing. We hear you, but you act like we're supposed to be deaf, dumb, and blind. Oh, well, you know, that don't count. Bunk. You could really change this if you really wanted to, if you would be better. Bunk, because that white boy ain't got to try. That Latino boy ain't got to try. He ain't got to do a tenth of what we do to get the same results. That's why I played that white chick said, black men begin in a hole, and that white man is on a pedestal. And the thing is, if you gave us a ladder or a rope to get out of the hole, we could rock. Well, guess what you do? You shovel dirt into the hole to make sure that we can't climb up. And if we do find our own rope, start climbing up out of the pit, you cut the rope because you don't want us up there. That's like black boys still only read at the same grade level that they did 60 years ago. 60 years ago. All those programs for black boys, guess what? They got killed because same thing white women did. If black women can't have it, black women can't stay up over you, then guess what? They don't want it. They don't want it. So I think about the fences, right? With Rose and Troy. Now Rose can read, write, do numbers, take care of the business. Near the end of the movie, you find out that Troy can't read. Now you married to this man for 20 years and you never tried to teach him how to read. Ever. Why? Because you want him handicapped. Because if he learns how to read, learns how to write, he may leave you. You know that. You've seen that. You talk to each other about that. How to keep that man under wraps, how to keep that man under your thumb, how to keep that man under your apron skirts. To make sure that he's going to be there. Make sure that he don't think too highly of himself because he might leave you, or basically, or better yet, you think that he's going to do something to you. He's going to dog you. Or he's going to look at you and say that you're inadequate to what his needs are. Which is why you don't like passport bros. Because passport bros go overseas, they encounter different women in a different culture and get treated differently, and they bring that stuff back. And you don't want to change. And you don't want to change. Instead of learning what that man needs, learning what he likes, and competing just like every other woman on the planet, you're comfy in your pride. And instead of what you do what you've always done. You try to get somebody to chase that black man back into your arms, back behind your skirts. If the white man won't do it, you go to the white woman. If the white woman won't do it, you go to somebody else. So you go to the man of the other women in the other cultures to chase that black man back. I know I've had 4 guys tell me that their girlfriends were paid by black women to talk negatively about black men. 4 of them. I couldn't believe it. And my guy said his girl showed her the transfers. How much a month she was paid just to go on the internet and talk crap about black men. That's how deep this goes. So I am absolutely done with this. I'm done with it. Pro-blacks cannot come over here and try to shame us about this. No kind of way. I don't want to hear it. Until you address that black woman, you get her straight, you get her to stop talking greasy about us. Don't come over here telling us what we got to do with the black community or with these black women. If you're not over there talking to them and getting them straight, don't come over here. If you can't come over here, say what our return on investment is, don't come over here. I don't want to hear it. My first thing, when I hear that, you have to go back to the black community and marry these women and take care of these kids. What is my ROI? My return on investment. And don't tell me it's supposed to be higher than that. Bunk. Black men have they're stabbed in the back too many times with civil rights, when black women got together with white women and basically took the gains of civil rights for themselves and left the black man struggling. Go and look at it. Same thing with affirmative action, with feminism. When affirmative action, guess who suffered? It wasn't them, it wasn't black women. Keisha was fine. Jamal is the one that got axed. Jamal is the one that got pushed down. Jamal is the one that got all the smoke, right? Jamal got all that smoke. Jamal had to go to jail. Jamal had to go on the streets and live in his car. Keisha got Section 8. Keisha got food stamps. Keisha got all this stuff. Jamal got prison. Jamal got homelessness. Jamal got unemployment. That's what he got. Jamal, to save himself, had to get into the military. I don't want to hear it. Until you do what's right, don't come over here with that mess. I know Like Zaz Ali, I know you didn't talk to anybody. I know you didn't talk to anybody in merit because I would have heard it. Your name would have blown up throughout this whole transit. I'd have gotten more texts, more calls, more emails. If you were on anybody's show, got in contact with anybody, they'd have said something. You did not. Stop trying to play me. I am too embedded into this community to even believe that. Because the first time you popped up with a Passport Bros, I got an email. I don't even follow you. I'm tired of these lies. I'm tired of this blackmail collective guilt that we got to save these women. Bunk. We ain't got to save them. I'll tell them, save yourself, black woman. SYSBW. Save yourself. Stop calling on us. Go to Becky, will help you out. She's been helping you out for the last 200 years. She'll help you out. All the help that you got from Becky and Karen, you didn't take advantage of it, that's your problem. Because you didn't pass none of those gains on to your black men or your black boys, did you? Like when that company, that bank was going to give you guys, what, $10 billion in aid? None of that was spent on black men. And Stacey Abrams had at $2 billion. She could have funded how many companies of black men doing jobs on the ground? We didn't hear about none of that. We didn't get nothing. Black men didn't get none of that money. None of that money. She didn't say I put black men to work putting up solar panels or changing fixtures. She didn't say none of that. I don't want to hear it. Black women get something, they leave black men completely out. How do I know? I talk to all the academics. They tell me the exact same thing. The nonprofits black women start, and if you ain't included, I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it. The stuff that even the pro-black community, the stuff they do for black men is far and few in between. Twos and fews, as they used to say. I don't want to hear it. Get right or get left. That's what passport boards are telling you. Either you're going to get right or you're going to get left. And I guess left is starting to win. Anyhow, that's the end of my rant. I'm going to drop this piece and I'm out of here.